Here's your wrestling news for November 8th, 2021. And your headlines for today include WWE sent a message to entire locker room by releasing Nia Jax, real reason for WWE cutting Eva Marie revealed, Raw superstar calls on WWE to bring back released superstar, Frankie Monet explains just how much control WWE still has over her after release, it's super frustrating. Paul White explains the worst part of his WWE career. WWE gave unvaccinated superstars no warning before releasing them over vaccine status. WWE Champion Big E teases new titles coming to the main roster, and more. We are kicking off with last week's WWE releases as the company cut a total 18 superstars, but few releases were more shocking than Nia Jax. In her first statement post-release, Jax said that WWE released her during a hiatus for her mental health and didn't consult with her at all before letting her go. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed cutting the former Raw Women's Champion and argued that it sends a clear message to the remaining WWE roster. She had done that, asking for a mental break once before. That ended up dooming her. See, here's the problem with that. They don't tell you no, but there's a message that's sent. Meltzer's reasoning is that Nia asked for time off once before and WWE allowed that, but asking for time off again, even for mental health issues, was seen as too much trouble for the company. Nia was reportedly a favorite of Vince McMahon for years, which makes her release all the more shocking, and we imagine that the remaining superstars will think twice about asking for time off, knowing that nobody is safe. Eva Marie was one of the 18 cut last week, mere months after her return to WWE TV following a 4-year absence. On his show, Meltzer explained why WWE cut the former Total Divas star, saying that her pursuits in Hollywood hurt her as WWE didn't appreciate her leaving to try acting in 2017. Upon returning, Marie struggled to get over with fans, and with reports that age was a huge factor in the company's decision-making, they didn't waste time cutting the 37-year-old superstar. Eva's most recent hiatus from TV was due to her work on a movie project, and while she could be just one role away from being the next big thing in Hollywood, WWE evidently weren't a fan of Eva's acting chops. Eva Marie now has more time to focus on her budding movie career and various fitness projects, but there are some within WWE who'd love to see her get another shot. Marie returned to WWE this year after weeks of build by introducing Doudrop, making the former Piper Niven the first permanent main roster call-up from NXT UK. Speaking to the Metro newspaper, Doudrop discussed Eva being cut from the company and said she was heartbroken by the decision. Calling the much-maligned wrestler the nicest person you will ever meet, Doudrop encouraged WWE to rehire her, saying, "I hope it's not the last time we've seen her in WWE." Doudrop isn't the only superstar unhappy with recent cuts, as shortly after Nia Jax was released by the company, former Divas champion Paige encouraged WWE to rehire her good friend. After failing to win over fans in 2 runs with WWE, it's unlikely we'll see Eva Marie receive a third shot, but it goes to show that last week's releases have left a profound effect on the remaining roster. Frankie Monet was cut from her NXT 2.0 contract last week, meaning she'll have to wait 30 days before she can appear elsewhere, but she's still under WWE's control for the time being. On Instagram, a fan commented on Monet's latest Instagram post, saying they love the fact that she's continuing to use her WWE name, but that isn't out of choice for the former superstar. Responding, Monet explained that WWE have control over her social media account names, and it's up to them to change it when they see fit. Before joining WWE, Monet worked as Taya Valkyrie, becoming the longest-reigning Impact Knockouts champion ever, and though we expect she'll return to that name when her non-compete clause is up, her online profile remains tied to Vince McMahon's company. WWE has a much slimmer roster than the one they had just a few months ago, and now 2 remaining superstars have had their names changed. On SmackDown, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo have become a tag team, and after defeating Mansoor and Cesaro on SmackDown, have officially been christened Los Lotharios. On WWE.com, both superstars have become the latest wrestlers to have their names shortened, with Angel Garza now just Angel, and Humberto Carrillo now going by just Humberto. The pair aren't the only superstars to have their name changed this year, as Shotzi Blackheart, Reginald, and Nikki Cross have all had different names, and we'll have to see what these new, shorter names do for Los Lotharios on SmackDown. AEW news now, as Paul White joined the company earlier this year after decades as the Big Show in WWE. Once considered a WWE lifer, White debuted in March this year and has had one match to date in AEW, defeating QT Marshall at All Out. Despite a successful run with WWE, White's career was often the butt of jokes by fans who mocked the constant heel and face turns he had working for Vince McMahon. Speaking to Inside the Ropes, White didn't hold back when asked about his constant character changes in WWE, saying, "It's super frustrating. One of the things that turning did is make it hard for me to develop a consistent identity, to sell merch. Merchandise is a huge part of our industry. When you're flip-flopping, a lot of times you're pissing people off. You're constantly dividing your audience." It's hardly surprising that fans were hesitant to buy Big Show merch, as they wouldn't know whether to cheer or boo the 7-foot superstar in a few weeks' time. But White has remained a face thus far in AEW and seems far happier under Tony Khan. CM Punk has never struggled selling merch in any company he's been in and has sold a ton of shirts so far in AEW. Joining at the First Dance Rampage special in August, Punk is undefeated in the company, boasting a 5-0 winning streak, and things are only going to get better for the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Sitting down with Wade Keller of PW Torch, AEW President Tony Khan discussed Punk's impact on AEW and said how TNT executives have been especially impressed by the veteran performer. Khan explained that TNT sees Punk as a name they can build the company around alongside other big names in the coming years. It's interesting that TNT want to build AEW around Punk, as the company has tried to set itself apart from WWE, who is constantly criticized for relying on older talent instead of younger, newer stars. The 43-year-old Punk will have his next match at Full Gear, where he'll face Eddie Kingston. And while this match won't be for a title, it appears to be just a matter of time before CM Punk is on top of the AEW roster. Punk came to AEW 7 years after leaving WWE, but he's by far not the only former superstar appearing on TNT. It's already expected that some of the 18 superstars cut from WWE last week will be eyeing up AEW as their next home, and that's exactly what Tony Khan is hoping for. Speaking to PW Torch this week, the AEW president discussed the latest releases and that some may soon be working on Dynamite or Rampage. He said, "I do see a few in this wave. I don't want to say who or when I would be interested in them, but I think there's a very few interested people they've just let go. The same goes in the last wave, and the wave before that, and the wave before that." Whenever WWE releases talent, they give AEW a huge opportunity to sign talented wrestlers, with Khan's roster now hosting plenty of ex-WWE talent. With a 30-day clause for NXT 2.0 superstars and 90 days for main roster talent, we won't know who Khan signs for quite some time, but that hasn't stopped AEW's president from already making plans for those cuts last week. Vaccines have played a huge role in this latest round of releases, as it had been reported that at least 5 superstars cut were unvaccinated, which would have been a problem for WWE at certain arenas and when touring overseas. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported that at least half a dozen superstars hadn't had the vaccine, and that played a factor into the company's decision. It was also noted that no superstars were warned ahead of the cuts that being unvaccinated could cost them their jobs. The New York Post has reported that Nia Jax was released because of being unvaccinated, but Jax refuted the claim on an Instagram post, saying that WWE never mentioned vaccines or whether she was vaccinated when informing her of her release. It's worth remembering that WWE would be within the law to release talent because of whether they're vaccinated or not, and while WWE are refusing to say that the jab was the sole reason for some cuts, we have to wonder if some now ex-superstars would have taken the vaccine had they known their jobs were on the line. Now, in WWE, there's no shortage of titles, with a total 20 different accolades across all brands, but we may soon be seeing more gold on the company's programming. That's if WWE Champion Big E gets his way, as he recently spoke to the Wrestling AC YouTube channel and teased the introduction of Trios titles. When asked if WWE should introduce 6-man tag team titles, the WWE Champion responded saying, "That'd be pretty cool. That would be dope. We will see." Interestingly, AEW have been teasing Trios titles for some time now, and in a report from September, Tony Khan said it would be great to add Six-Man Gold to the All Elite company. The problem with introducing these titles in WWE is that the company is suffering from a lack of stables at the moment, with even The New Day, considered by many the greatest three-man group of them all, now working on different brands. It'll ultimately be Vince McMahon's decision as to whether WWE ever has six-man tag team titles, but the fact that AEW are still looking to introduce similar titles themselves may force the chairman's hand sooner rather than later. And we're ending today with The Undertaker, who is enjoying life after retiring last November and was recently spotted at an NFL game. Both the dead man and his wife Michelle McCool were spotted on the sidelines for the Dallas Cowboys and Denver Broncos game at AT&T Stadium, the very same venue which will host WrestleMania 38. The Undertaker was seen chatting with members of the U.S. military and Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons, but it wasn't enough to give the Cowboys the win, as the Denver Broncos ended Dallas's 6-game winning streak, beating them 30-16. The Phenom will return to AT&T Stadium this Wednesday, where WWE will host a WrestleMania 38 pre-sale party with Big E, Nikki Ash, and Rhea Ripley, Reggie, Jimmy Hart, The Street Profits, Doudrop, and Dana Brooke. And we expect tickets to go rapidly for the 2-day event that'll take place in Texas next April. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.